Hey guys, this is going to be the second Visual Basic tutorial. This is basically going to be like different variable types and how these are useful, along with possibly some other nice little things to know. So we're going to go ahead and create a new project. We're just going to name it variables. Just going to name it var. And much like with other programming languages, Visual Basic, you have to declare variables. I know there's a few languages that you pretty much hit an add button and it creates a object, and then depending on what you put in it, it declares it as that type of variable. So I'm going to go ahead and create a label. Actually going to just save myself some time and copy and paste a bunch. This should be plenty. And I'm really sorry if I take up a bunch of time just fixing up my form, or the GUI, which stands for Graphic User Interface. I'm a really hard perfectionist when it comes to that. If anyone's seen my other programs, you'd understand. So we now have 6 labels, and I'm now going to add a few buttons. Well, I'll just use one big button. It'll save some time. We're just going to say tell our variables, but I'm going to just leave it as var for short. So we're going to go ahead and go into the code of our button, and I'm really sorry if you hear my dogs or my cat in the background. It's like 4 in the morning here. So anyways, to declare a variable, the first thing you have to know is the dim keyword. And what dim basically says is that you're wanting Visual Basic as a language to, alright, here's a simple concept for it. Say you have a box, and in this box, let me pause the video, I'm really sorry. Okay, really sorry, my dog needed some water. Anyways, let's think of our variables as boxes, and Visual Basic wants to keep everything organized. You can only have certain types of values in certain types of boxes. So, our first thing we're going to go over is a string. So we can put letters as string. This is basically just saying we have a new box and it's named letters, and it's going to hold string information. And a string can only hold values like letters, basically, or characters, or whatever you want to call it. So we're going to put string, we're going to dim numbers as integer equals integer, dim true or false as boolean equals, oh my bad, you can't have those. And this is also incorrect, I'm very sorry. As I said, it's like 4 in the morning, so I can't think straight. So we're just going to put 71. And then our boolean is going to equal false. Okay, now let's go a little bit deeper into our integers. There's other types of integers that are, it's like short and long. Basically a short, the main reason you would use these is that it would use up less memory, CPU usage wise, which can make programs very efficient if the integer count doesn't go over, like, I think it's 65,000 or negative 65,000. A long uses up a lot of memory, but can hold really large values. But if you just declare it as an integer, it's going to stay the same either way. I'm just going to pull my little timer up right here so I know how much time I have left. And we're also going to go over something called doubles. And these can only keep decimal values. Like if you were to try and put in a decimal value for an integer, you would get some funky errors because it's like, oh, this isn't the right type. So we need to change it and put it into the correct type, and there you go. And then we can make a new value called an object. Objects can be anything. It can be a string, it can be an integer, it can be a double, a boolean, whatever. But the bad part about this is that it's not very, what's the word, compatible with some of the basic functions in Visual Basic. Like if you had a boolean, you wanted it to be like a boolean, and you wanted something like a text box to either show up or not, and you were trying to use that object, it wouldn't work because it would be like, oh, this isn't the right type, so you change it. The main thing this is used for is whenever someone's doing a lot of stuff with actually using other components, because you can define a object and then you can actually assign that object to like a class. And I'll go more into detail with that, I'm very sorry, later on in my videos. I do plan on doing a beginner project starting on the next video, because after this video you'll have plenty of basic information needed. So in our button 1, and we're only going to need 4 labels, so let's just delete these 2, fix that up a little bit, shorten this down, there we go. We're going to do label 1 dot text because we want to access a label and then go to the text functions, and we're going to put in letters. And then we're going to do label 1 dot text, and if you want to be proper about this, you can do numbers dot toString. But I'm pretty sure if you just put in numbers, Visual Basic will realize that you're trying to assign it to a string value, and it'll automatically convert it. This isn't always the case. Then we're going to do label 3 dot text equals true or false to string, and then label 4 dot text equals double. Oh, my bad. Wow. Deci dot toString. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and add back another label. Oops. I see I've accidentally typed label 1 twice. Let me add another label real quick so we can make sure we get all of our assigned values onto a component in the form that we can basically just anyways, sorry, I'm getting a little off track. Label 5 dot text equals misc. Well, might as well do 2 strings so we don't get any funky errors with that later on. So basically what this is doing is accessing our label component, which is on our form. In this case it's label 2, because that's what we have it named over here. And it's accessing its text property, and it's making the text equal our numbers, and it's converting our numbers to a string because the text value is a string property. So now if we run this, our nice little form will come up, and if we hit tell our value, or variable, alright, you see we have string here, 71, false, 0, and some random letters I just threw in there. So as you can see, label 1 is equaling to letters, and letters is equal to string. Numbers, toString, 71, 71. Our boolean equals false. It's also false. Our deci, the reason it's putting out 0 is because it's automatically converting it because it's saying 0.0. So it's just 0 anyways. So it's just saving a little bit of unneeded value on that string, which is very nice. And then we have our misc, which equals ASDF, and that's what it equals over here. So just to clarify things up, if we were to change this to like 3.5 and run this, there we go, 3.5, it's just saving some space. So I will release a video sooner or later. I'm sorry, I've just been really busy, but we are going to start on our first legitimate project, which will be a web browser, and I'll go over every single bit of it, and hopefully you'll learn some more about the web browser components and some nice little things you can do to your form to make it look all nice and pretty, and some efficiency things, along with a fully working history and favorites. And it's not just going to be a simple history or favorites, it's actually going to save the information in the application. So I will see you guys whenever I release that video. Hope you enjoyed.